Welcome to the Behind the Drapes podcast. I'm your host, Expo Rich, and we are recording here at the IAEE EXPO EXPO show floor. And I have the pleasure of having Betsy Greenleaf, who not only is the manager of exhibitions and events at SEMI, but also a longtime friend of mine. So thank you for being here today.
Thanks, Rich. I'm so excited to be on your podcast today.
Thank you. It's I love to do this from the show floor. It's the energy, the buzz, and obviously we get to see each other, see all our friends, our industry people. So it's always a good time, good energy coming into this.
I love it. It's the best part about the industry.
Yeah. It was funny because we have the conversation sometimes about how people are trying to solve for the next gen who are not that great at networking.
Yeah.
And I said, we're like the worst example of how to solve it, because it's like we just come in a room and like jump on each other, hugs, and
it's
everybody's
so
like, yeah, we're the top of the networkers. And so
I know.
It's like we're not a good example of how to solve that problem, but we gotta
but we're a good example of like what to want to achieve.
Very true.
Right?
Very true.
Because it's the best.
So I've been doing this podcast for a while now, and what the format is that I like to learn about the people that are doing the stuff. You've been showcasing different brands throughout your career. You've been working on shows, and you're promoting those, and nobody knows about the people that are doing it.
Yeah.
So with that, how did you very first get started in this industry? How'd you fall into it?
Well, I literally fell into it.
Yeah.
So I graduated from Ohio State with a bachelor's degree in strategic communications. So PR, marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I wanted to do something in event planning. In my head, I'm thinking, I'm going to do the Super Bowl, something really big. Like those were the events I knew. But I had a loose connection to a contractor down in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my mom drove me down for my big interview, and I had no idea what a trade show was.
Right.
But I was young, single, no kids, never been to Atlanta, got offered this job, and just picked up and moved down. So that's kind of where I got my start as an account manager for a service contractor in Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, back in 2007, which feels like yesterday.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's like no idea, whatever, just took the leap.
Yeah.
And said, this sounds interesting. I'll just go for it.
And I always think too with this, it's you either love it or you hate it.
Oh, yeah,
you get in and you
sure.
stay forever, you're a lifer, or you're kind of in and out.
Yeah. People that don't love it are gone pretty fast.
Yeah.
Our burnout is because it's such a grind, and we just have so much time dedicated to an event.
Yes.
Pre-planning, but also like the on-site is like just you're doing 18-hour days, and that's normal. People either love what they're doing or they do not like that.
Well, it's interesting, just a sidebar. I'm leaving here today to go home because I've planned an event for my 10-year-old son's 4th grade class tomorrow night, only then on Saturday to be planning a big event for my 100-person family. And so it's just kind of like in your blood, you know, it's just nonstop. But
same here. We got Friday night, daughter's birthday, and Saturday a big party for her as well. So.
I love it. Those are the easy ones, though.
Yeah. I just found out last night that there's 25 kids coming, and they're not 19, 20-year-olds. So
I mean, that's easy in comparison to like some of these events.
True. Yeah, that's true. So your first taste of it was as a GSC.
Yes.
When did you make the switch into show manager side?
Oh gosh. So I kind of had a little bit of a slow move into the show manager side. So after I left a GSC, I started my own consulting company.
Mm-hmm.
I worked closely with show organizers in a few different capacities. So some was contract negotiation with different vendor partners, and then working closely with contractors. Some was an extension of the show organizer team. But it did kind of give me a taste of the show organizer side, which I always knew I kind of wanted to get into.
Right.
And then as we all did, the pandemic hit. I had to close my business's doors. I didn't think we'd be able to really recover from it. And I had a longtime partner, client, friend, Sandy Chapin, who moved to this new job at SEMI a few years prior. And she's like, we're looking for just a contractor to come in, not a contractor, but like a seasonal employee to kind of help in some of our busy times, that then just led to full-time. So I've been there about 3.5 years now.
Yeah.
And what a great opportunity it's been. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's great. And you definitely brought a unique perspective, having a background as a contractor, going into it as that. So knowing both sides of the the equation. So.
Yeah, it's definitely helped in terms of understanding like why my timelines are so important, where my costs are really coming from, how I can bring costs down in certain areas. Just kind of understand that. This is one of our biggest bills as a contractor. So, yeah.
Because it's the biggest, heaviest lift is the stuff.
It's exactly right. Yeah.
So you spoke about one person in your past and who kind of helped you into this position here. I always like to find out people about mentors, about people that inspired you along the way, people that, you know, helped you become a leader.
Yeah.
So talk about some of the people that helped you along the way.
Sure. So, I mean, I honestly think my boss right now, Sandy Chapin, was like the number one person who has number one championed me. I think women to women can be really powerful together, but they can be really hurtful when they're opposed to each other.
Right.
I think sometimes that's hard to find women who really champion each other. Not that it's hard to, but when you find it, you really want to like hold on to it. So Sandy, from the very beginning, I mean, she kind of locked into me. We're very alike in a lot of ways, but she's kind of always set me up for success. If she saw there was an opportunity, whether it's to bring me in or to level me up in any way, to position me in front of like executives or someone higher up, or give an interview in her place just so that I can get my name out there. That's been huge. And it's really just taught me a lot about like leadership and how much just even the smallest amount of support can really change someone's trajectory. So she definitely foundational support. I honestly look to you and Mark Staples as with American Expo, who both own companies. You're very family oriented, and while you started small, like you're continually growing. You're so friendly. you know everybody. I mean, and you make everything just feel so warm. And I look at your teams, and like that to me is such a show of like leadership, how I aspire to be when, you know, I'm leading teams. Because again, we work really long hours, and I know everyone says it feels like a family, but truly, like I look at both of your companies as that real kind of family feel. So that's like very inspiring to me. Well, it's true though.
Yeah, thank you.
And then I would say from a personal level, my dad.
Yeah.
He's like a very humble, successful man who went through his own trials and tribulations of losing jobs. When I lost Jacoby Expo, I kind of crumbled a little bit, and he told me, he said, it's happening for a reason. Something better is
on the other side.
And I couldn't see it. And honestly, what I'm doing now has set me up for so much more success than I could have imagined. So I think just that humble spirit of just knowing like it's going to work out. Work hard, pay your dues. It will come back.
It is interesting because like it was almost like that era was, as terrible as it was a shakeout. You know, it was like it redefined us as a company.
Absolutely.
It made us look at everything differently, but also with that, actually, we had a lot of handcuffs and restraints prior to trying to grow. You know, we were growing, 8 to 10% year over year. You know, we grew 45%, then another 35%, and now next year we're looking at another 30%. So it's like the ability to scale was never there until we tore everything down to its guts and bones because we had nothing else left better to do.
No, it's true.
And then looked at every single part of the company, and including the culture.
Yes.
And one of the biggest struggles was as soon as that spout came back on and we were like full bore in 2022 trying to like grow this thing, and we were doing it with less people because we hadn't gotten everybody back. It was like, I was like, oh, everybody's going to kill each other soon. How do we solve this? So then, so I actually hired some consultants, some third-party people to come in and actually help us reshape our culture and get us all in alignment with, if we can get everybody on board with the mission and everybody on board and everybody communicating better. And it's been like the best investment I've ever done. Having
such a great approach, rather than, I feel like the knee-jerk reaction would be to just hire people. Like just get people in the door, than really like looking at it as a whole and being strategic about it.
And because like it's been working to grow on the culture side, now that's the number one thing about a hire. If you're not gonna fit we actually do team interviews. Like when we interview
that.
someone, they're not only is the person that they're going to be reporting to, but 2 other people that work within that department.
Yeah.
So they'll ask questions too, and then like there's decisions made based on, will this person be a good fit for Expo? Because the most important thing is the culture. I can teach you the stuff, but if you're not going to fit in and you're not going to be part of this and you're not going to believe what we believe in, then it can't happen. So,
definitely. I love that so much. Like the silver lining in it all, right?
Yeah. And so you said 3.5 years at Semi now.
Yes.
What does next year look like for you? Like, what are you excited about for next year? Yeah.
So
we got 2025 any day now.
We've got big things coming professionally for Semi right now. I kind of came in at a really cool time where there's been a lot of investments into the CHIPS Act for our industry serves semiconductors, the semiconductor industry. So we're a global association. I work on our Americas team that is based in Silicon Valley, Milpitas, California. Okay. And just with this investment, we've seen, or with the CHIPS Act, we've seen a lot of investment into different places. So we've historically always been in Northern California, in San Francisco, in July. And we are working on moving the show into an annual rotation. So starting in October of 2025, we'll be in Phoenix.
Oh, wow.
And then we'll rotate between Phoenix and San Francisco, which is huge. We've already seen like incredible response. Our show floor is sold out. We're working on an exhibitor planning meeting to have people come see what the new space is, sponsorship opportunities. And then on top of it, we've launched a small regional event it's going to be in Indianapolis in April. And it'll probably go between Indianapolis, Michigan, and Ohio and focus on a couple of our smart initiatives, one being manufacturing and the other being automotive or mobility. Okay. Which is also having a great response. So we're launching new events. We're moving an event that's historically been in the same area.
Nerve-wracking, but exciting.
It really is. I mean, there's big risk, but big reward. And again, if there's one thing I've learned working for Sandy is that if you feel it in your gut and you're starting to do it, we always say we don't toe dip, we cannonball. Right. Like you're just all in. So
I like it.
I think it's going to be a really great year. So I'm excited about that.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you all the luck in this coming year. I know great things are going to happen.
Thank you.
You just, you always have a smile on your face. You always have great energy and positivity. So I love being around you. So, and thank you for doing this today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.